Micah chapter 6. Adonai pleads his case. Hear what Adonai is saying. Arise, contend with the mountains, and let the hills hear your voice. Hear Adonai's dispute, O mountains, the enduring foundations of the earth. For Adonai has a dispute with his people, and he will argue his cases with Israel. O my people, what have I done to you? Or how have I wearied you? Answer me. When I brought you up from the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of bondage, I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. O my people, remember, please, what did Balak, king of Moab, propose? What did Balaam, son of Beor, answer him? From Shittim as far as Gilgal, so that you might acknowledge the righteous acts of Adonai. What is Adonai seeking from you? With what shall I come before Adonai? With what shall I bow myself before God on high? Shall I present him burnt offerings with year-old calves? Will Adonai be pleased with the thousands of rams, with hordes of rivers of oil? Shall I offer my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my belly for the sin of my soul? He has told you, humanity, what is good, and what Adonai is seeking from you, only to practice justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. The voice of Adonai calls to the city. It is wisdom to fear your name. Pay attention to the rod and to the one who appointed it. Does the house of the wicked still have treasures of wickedness, or is an undersized ephah denounced? Can I be pure with wicked balances, or with deceptive weights? For the rich of the city are full of violence, and its inhabitants speak lies. Their tongue in their mouth is deceit, so also I will strike you severely, desolating you because of your sins. You will eat but not be satisfied, and emptiness will be within you. You will try to escape, but you will not reach safety. Whatever you make safe, I will give to the sword. You will sow but not reap. You will tread olives but not anoint your head with oil, and grapes but not drink wine. Now you observe the statutes of Omri and practice the house of Ahab, and you walk in their counsels. Therefore I will make you a horror, and her inhabitants a hissing, so you will bear the scorn of my people. Micah chapter 7. None upright among mankind. Woe is me, I am like gatherings of produce in summer, like gleanings of a vineyard. There is no cluster to eat, no first ripe fig that I crave. The pious have perished from the land. There is none upright among mankind. All of them lie in wait for the blood. A man hunts his brother with a net. Both hands are diligent in doing evil. The official and the judge ask for a bribe. The distinguished man utters a desire of his soul. Thus they weave it together. The best of them is like a prickly bush, the most upright like a thorn hedge. The day of your watchman of your visitation is coming, then their confusion will occur. Do not trust in a friend, do not trust in a close companion. Guard the openings of your mouth from her who lies on your breast. For sons treats father with contempt, daughters rise up against mother, daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the people of his own house. Zion's vindication. But I will watch for Adonai. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Do not rejoice over me, O my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will arise. Though I sit in darkness, Adonai is my light. I will bear the indignation of Adonai, because I have sinned against him, until he pleads my cause and executes judgment for me, and will bring me out to the light, and I will behold his righteousness. Then my enemy will see it, and shame will cover her. She who said to me, where is Adonai your God? My eyes will gaze at her. Now she will be trampled like mud in streets. A day to rebuild your walls, a day the boundary will be far off, a day when they will come to you from Assyria to the cities of Egypt, from Egypt to the river, from sea to sea, and from mountain to mountain. Yet the land will become a wasteland because of her inhabitants, because of the fruit of their misdeeds. Tend to your people with your staff, the flock of your inheritance, dwelling alone in a forest in the midst of a fertile garden. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as the days of old, as in the days of your coming out from the land of Egypt. I will show him wonders. Nations will see and be put to shame despite all their might. They will put a hand on their mouth. Their ears will be deaf. They will lick dust like a snake, like crawling things of the land. They will come trembling out of their hiding places. To Adonai Eloheinu they will submit in awe of you. He will again have compassion. Who is a God like you, pardoning iniquity, overlooking transgression for the remnant of his heritage? He will not retain his anger forever, because he delights in mercy. He will again have compassion on us. He will subdue our iniquities, and you will cast all our sins into the depths of the sea. You will extend truth to Jacob, mercy to Abraham, that you swore to our ancestors in the days of old. Nahum, chapter 1, Judgment of Nineveh. The oracle concerning Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. A jealous and avenging God is Adonai. Yes, Adonai is the avenger, the master of wrath. Adonai is the avenger to his adversaries. Yes, a keeper of wrath for his foes. Adonai is slow to anger and great in power, but he will by no means acquit the guilty. Adonai's way is with a whirlwind or with a storm wind. Clouds are dust in his feet, rebuking the sea. He made it dry. As he has dried up all the rivers, Bashan and Carmel languished. Yes, Lebanon's budding languished. Mountains quaked because of him, and the hills have melted. The earth is heaved up. at his presence, yes, the world and everything dwelling in it. Before his indignation, who can stand? Who can withstand his burning anger? His wrath is poured out like fire, and cliffs break down before him. Adonai is good as a refuge in the day of distress, and he knows those who take refuge in him. But with an overwhelming flood, he will make that place a total ruin. Darkness will pursue his enemies. What can you scheme against Adonai? He will make a complete destruction. Distress will not arise twice. For even like tangled thorns, they will be consumed, or like drunkards who are drunk, or like stubble that is fully dry. Out of you has come a schemer evil against Adonai, counselor Belial. Thus says Adonai. Though they are strong and numerous, even so they will be mowed down and pass away. Although I have afflicted you, I will afflict you no more. I will now break his yoke from you and tear apart your bonds. Adonai has issued a command against you. No more will your name be spread from the house of your gods. I will cut off the idol and metal image. I will prepare your grave, for you have become worthless. Nahum chapter 2. Behold, upon the mountains are the feet of him bringing good news. Proclaim shalom, O Judah, celebrate your festivals. Fulfill your vows, for never again will Belial pass through you. He has been utterly cut off. Devastation of Nineveh. A shatterer has come up against you. Guard the rampart, watch the way. Chazak, be very courageous, for Adonai turned aside Jacob's pride like Israel's pride, for spoilers emptied them and ruined their vine branches. He makes the shield of warriors red. Valiant men are clad in scarlet. The chariot burns with metal fire on the day of his preparation. The fir trees are shaken. The chariots dash madly about through the streets, rushing to and fro in the plazas. Their appearance is like torches, darting like flashes of lightning. He will recall his majestic ones. They will stumble in their march. They will hasten to her wall. Now the siege work is set up, the river gates will be opened, and the palace will melt away. What was erected will be exiled and carried away. Her handmaids are lamenting like a sound of doves beating their breasts. Nineveh was like a pool of water for days, now they are fleeing. Stop, stop, yet no one turns back. Plunder the silver, plunder the gold, for there is no end of treasure. Glory from everything precious, emptiness, desolation, waste, heart melting, knees buckling. Anguish in all the loins, all their faces grow pale. Where is the lion's den, the feeding place for young lions, where the lion went for a lion's cub, with nothing to disturb them? The lion rips enough for his cubs, strangles prey for his lioness. Yes, he fills the den with his prey, his lair with torn flesh. Here I am against you. It is the declaration of Adonai Zavat. I will burn up her chariots in smoke. A sword will devour your young lions. I will cut them off from the land of your prey, and the voice of your messengers will no longer be heard. Nahum chapter 3, City of Corpses. O bloody city, full of deceit, full of plunder, the prey never departs. Crack of whip, rattling of wheels, horse galloping, chariot jolting, horsemen climbing up, blade of sword and flash of spear, many slain, a mass of corpses, no end to the corpses. They stumble over their corpses. The harlot humiliated because of the many fornications of the elegant prostitute, the mistress of sorceries who sells nations by her fornications and clans through her sorceries. Behold, I am against you. It is the declaration of Adonai Zavad. I will lift your skirts over your face. I will show nations your nakedness and kingdoms your disgrace. Yes, I will fling filth on you. I will treat you with contempt, and you will set you up as a spectacle. So it will be that all who see you will recoil from you and say, Nineveh has been ravaged. Who will lament for her? Where will I find comforters for you? Are you better than No Amman, situated among channels of the Nile, water surrounding her, whose fortress and wall with was water? Cush and Egypt were her might, unlimited. Put in Libya were her allies. Yet she went off into exile among the captives. Even her babies were dashed to pieces at the hand of every street. They cast lots for her dignitaries, and all her great men were bound with chains. You too will become drunk. You will hide yourself. You too will seek refuge from an enemy. All your fornications will be fig trees with first fruits. When shaken, they will fall into an eater's mouth. See your people with you, and you are women. The gates of your land are wide open to your enemies. Fire has devoured your gate bars. Draw water for a siege. Strengthen your fornications. Go into the mud and tread mortar. Take hold of the brick mold. Their fire will devour you. Sword will cut you off, devouring you like a locust. Multiply like locusts. Multiply like swarming locusts. You have multiplied your traitors more than the stars of heaven. Locusts have stripped and flown off. Your princes are like locusts, your officials like a locust swarm camping in the wall on a chilly day. The sun rises and they are chased away, and where they are is unknown. Your shepherds have become drowsy, king of Assyria. Your nobles lie down. Your people are scattered on the hills with no one to gather them. There is no cure for your brokenness. Your wound is severe. All who hear the report about you clap hands over you, for over whom has not passed your constant cruelty.